Today we're heading over to my dad's house. I'm really excited to show you guys the new project. Something we pulled out of a barn that's been sitting for 15-20 years. It's a muscle car, and it's gonna be something else that we kind of work on, you know, when we have time, and I'm gonna definitely track what's more or less the restoration and what we do to it. Behind me is the new radiator. The car needs a decent amount of work, but I mean, it's not too far off of being drivable, so I'm pretty excited to get working on it. It's been, like I said, sitting for a long time. My dad has had it since I was a kid, and I don't know, we saw the car the one day and I kind of forgot about it, and I said, yo, like, let's pull this thing out of here and start working on it. So we got it out of the barn and we pulled it over at my dad's house, and I want to just kind of get it going. I'm sick of seeing it sitting in a barn rotting away, so I'm not gonna say what it is yet, but it's definitely something a little bit different. It's not your run-of-the-mill type car. I grew up around muscle cars, and I've always wanted to build a muscle car for myself, and finally have a chance, so I'm really excited to get working on this, take it to car shows, make it a pro touring type car, make it something modern, but still definitely a muscle car. So we're right down the road, and yeah, let's check it out. Let's check it out. Just gonna pull some of it off. So here it is, guys. It's a 1968 Oldsmobile 442 hardtop. Just want to show you a little bit of the car right now. It is a hardtop car, like I said. It's auto. It's got a turbo 400 in it. It's got the factory 10-bolt rear. The 10 bolts back in the day were a little bit stronger, so I think it'll still hold up for what we're doing. So as you can see, we've kind of got started on the front end. I'm going to go over the first video is going to be about not the fenders, because the fenders were put on about 2 years ago, but we're going to talk about getting the hood, what kind of hood we went with. It was aftermarket fiberglass. The fenders are a year one. They're a reproduction. They're just a sheet metal, and they finally made fenders for these cars. The big problem, which I'll show you with the original fender that was on the back garage of my dad's house, was that there was a lot of rot that started in the bottom of the fender. They made patch panels for these cars, but we kind of held off until we actually saw the reproductions start to kind of like get popular. So let's get the rest of the cover off, let's get the hood off the car, and let's show you guys what the actual motor is, and we'll go from there. But first, a little history about the 1968 Oldsmobile. The year is 1968, and the muscle car era is just underway. Oldsmobile knew they needed to step away from that classy Sunday cruiser and start producing an automobile that packed a punch. Oldsmobile spawned the 442, pronounced 442 because originally hyphened. 442 standing for 4-barrel carb, 4-speed transmission, and dual exhaust. Body styles included a 2-door convertible, a 2-door sports coupe, and this body style, the 2-door holiday coupe, because it had no B-pillar. Engine options included the following: an L66 400 cubic inch economy version of the car, choked up with a 2-barrel carb, making 290 horsepower and 425 foot-pounds of torque. The rest of the model sported all 4-barrel carbs. The next was a base 442, 400 cubic inch 4-barrel, rated at 350 horse and 400 foot-pounds of torque, although it couldn't get the job done in the quarter mile, only doing a 15.1 at 92 miles an hour. The next was the W30, only made about 10 more horsepower, but was equipped with 433 rear gears and a close ratio 4-speed, and launched the 3,700-pound car into a 13.3 at 103 miles per hour. With that in mind, you could say that the Olds base model is pretty much like in today's standards like a base Mustang or V6. Kind of affordable, but not too much performance to really get out of its own way. Next was the Hurst Olds. Oldsmobile partnered with Hurst Performance from Warminster, PA, and they raised the power bar even more. Hurst Olds cars were strictly performance-based. They offered a 455 cubic inch big block rocket rated at 390 horsepower and a whopping 500 foot-pounds of torque. Due to corporate policy back then, putting larger motors in cars smaller than the full size was prohibited, but Olds got away with throwing the 455 cubic inch into an intermediate-sized car by implying that the engines were installed by Hurst, not Oldsmobile. Kind of like how modern performance companies like Hennessy or Lincolnfelter modify the factory cars today. But for this project, we will actually be using none of these. What we have is the 7-liter 425 big block produced from 1965 to 1967. But this isn't just your standard 425. This is a Super Rocket 425. It's a high compression 10 1/4 to 1, producing 370 horsepower and 470 foot-pounds of torque. Arguably the best engine Oldsmobile made in the muscle car era that never made it into a muscle car. So that's why we are doing it. So a little bit about the car. It's got the 425 big block in it. It's got the C heads on it, which were a little bit better for compression and everything with the 68s. Just the stock intake manifold. The carburetor under here is the Cadillac carburetor, which is the 500 carburetor. So the car was actually on in a 66 Rocket Oldsmobile, which was a 4-door big body car, and it ran really good in that car. So same carb and everything, it should run pretty good here too. It's got the stock manifolds on it, stock exhaust manifolds on it. Definitely slapped. They're just shorties, so I would say definitely slap set headers on there eventually. Do the full exhaust. Like I said, we put the new fenders on 2 years ago. The main spot was this the the cancer the rust that would cause on the 68 fenders. A lot of the actual Olds fenders was down here. They would rot out. Now they made panels to replace that was like up to here. You could replace that, but year one finally made the full fenders for the 68, so we just went that route, and they fit awesome. They fit perfect. So I would definitely suggest, if you're gonna do them, go with them. We slapped the skinnies that I had laying around from our well, I think those were either on my brother's 4th gen Camaro or my GTO. So we slapped them on here. So I think it looks pretty cool. We had the M&H's that were on my brother's 84 Malibu. I think they're 24 and a half inches tall. They're really tiny, but honestly I think they'll work pretty well on this car. Kind of utilizing the gearing. We just slapped the Olds poverty cap on. It's got a little bit of rot, but nothing that, you know, we can't fix. Go around to the back. I think the other thing we're gonna be doing today is replacing. This is all torn up. Replacing the deck lid. We got another deck lid that's.
Door panels. I have the tool rim, but like
that's what lowers and raises. It goes up to like regular old height. Lower the whole thing.
Okay. Okay.
To like half the height. If you guys like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to smack that notify bell to make sure you get all the updates on every video that we do, an update about this build. When it works. That's when it started.